Following yesterday's disappointment from the first team away to Colga, there was a light at the end of the tunnel today as he advanced into the third round of the Connaught Cup with a deserved 4-1 victory. You chipping in yourself with a fabulous hat-trick. How would you describe today?
Difficult. In the first half, I thought we played our football, we played good. Connaught Cup, we destroyed his man down the right. Evan was doing well, winning frees down the left. We got a good goal, Ted put in a good ball for me, I headed into the net. Second half then, a bit sluggish at the start when I was 1-0. If we didn't get that second one, we probably would have been in a bit of a tighter game, but thankfully we did, and then we pushed on with 2 more.
And then after you came off, after your hat-trick, James McNamara completed the scoring for Westport.
Yeah, Simeon done awful. I think he done a step over and then brought it down the line and cut it back. And James, first time finish with power, and keeper had no chance.
And West Coast, to be fair, they had chances themselves. Niall made a few good saves throughout the game, and it is only fair that they deserved a goal at the end for all their effort.
Yeah, and I was unlucky now. He played well enough to keep a clean sheet. Just last 5 minutes they score a header unmarked. But what can you do? They created the opportunity, they got them in the box, so they scored. So no clean sheet for us today.
So next round is January the 14th, I think. And wouldn't it be a coincidence if you end up drawing Colga here?
Huh?
Wouldn't it?
We don't mind who we get. I think last year showed that we can play anyone that comes in front of us and bring anyone the distance. So I don't really care who we get in the next round. We'll just have to play them.
I know the last 2 seasons really has been great for the B teams in between winning the Connaught Shield and getting to the Connaught Cup quarter final, and I'm sure you're going out there and create more magical moments for yourselves in this competition, and the prize really is a good run, and also getting players pushing on to the first team squad for next season. Yeah,
you see how many of the B lads that played against in the competition for us last year starting off the 18 regularly, like there's 4 or 5 of us, and it's very good. It shows like you're able to play against anyone and anyone, so it's good for us, it's good for the club to show that there's more than just 11, 12, 13 good players in the club. We have 2 teams worth of good players.
So we're going to change the subject slightly. Next weekend is the FAI Junior Cup. It's a massive game for the lads. Galtee Celtic from Drimnagh, Dublin. We don't know an awful lot about them, to be honest, but I do know they had a huge win yesterday in the Liddy Cup. They won 7-1, I believe. So it will be a tough game, I'd imagine, for the lads. And have your message for the first team players and the supporters for next weekend?
Well, first of all, there's no reason not to go down to it. It's a home junior cup tie. You should be there supporting the lads. It'd be good for them. And I think they'll be ready to bounce back after yesterday's disappointment. They just couldn't get the goal yesterday, so they'll be biting at the chances next week.
And we'll certainly be looking forward to next weekend. It's important to get hundreds, and I mean hundreds of people down to the ground. During the week I put a TikTok video up of the day we beat Usha Celtic here 1-0 in United Park, and the crowd around the ground that day. I probably might stick it up on social media during the week just to remind people what a good crowd is like here for a big FAI Junior Cup game and what the atmosphere should be.
Yeah, you should try to get as many people down. Like, there's good crowds there for, even though they're playing games against Celtic, there's some promotion, so everyone knows about the games. If everyone knows about the game, I'm pretty sure they'll come down and want to support the lads. It's a big game. It's the last 64, I think, for the
last 64, yes.
So if you win that, it's really, you could have a crack at it.
So just build on today and just make next weekend exciting. Thanks very much. The agony of yesterday was replaced by the ecstasy of today. The B team advancing into the third round of the Connaught Cup, and Dan O'Malley get a hat-trick along with James Gorn. And West Coast, for all their efforts, certainly did deserve a goal, and they did get one near the end. But how do you sum it up?
You play these games. Well, first of all, I thought the lads were really good. I think on days like this, where the wind is blowing and the pitch is heavy, and you're in the middle of winter, and you've got to get through to the next round. I think the basics of the game revolve around hard work, and you've got to work really, really hard. And when you work hard, the chances will come. And I think that's what happened today. We worked really, really hard. We chose to play against the wind in the first half, and we picked a particular shape to be compact and to be aggressive in the first half, and to make sure that we would go into the game in the second half with the wind in a good position, in a position to win the game. That's how it panned out. We were able to widen the game up and stretch the game out a little bit in the second half. But on these wet, soggy, heavy days, it's all about hard work, hard work, hard work. And then your quality will come through at a certain point in the game. The chances will open up. Thought the lads did really well. Really good for Kevin McNamara to come today and to be part of it. I think little bit of redemption maybe, and then for James to score an outstanding strike. They go home happy tonight, and Kevin and James deserve that.
And Dan O'Malley's hat-trick, when he gets into great positions, we all know where he knows where the back of the net is.
Yeah, and it wasn't just his 3 goals. Dan had an outstanding game. He's so intelligent. He knows what's needed, and when Dan comes from deep, he comes from deep not because he's frustrated and he wants to get on the ball. He comes deep to solve a problem or to put a plan together. When Dan comes onto the ball, he knows exactly what he wants to do. He's the next move planned already. And time again today, Dan came from deep and knocked the ball back or knocked the ball wide and got us going. And we had asked him to do that, but he's so good at doing that. He's so good at stitching the ball from the 10 position. I thought he was outstanding today.
So your name goes into the draw for the next round of the Connaught Cup, which I think is the weekend of 14th of January. And wouldn't it be a coincidence? I know you don't care who you get in the draw. It would be such a coincidence if you end up getting Colga after yesterday.
Funny, I had the same thought myself last night. Imagine if we won tomorrow and then got Colga at home here. Listen, we're good enough, and there are players to come back. You know, we were missing a few players today, and there are players to come into this squad. We're good enough to have a good run in this cup again. And that's what we want to instill in the players, the confidence that they shouldn't be afraid of anybody, they can win any game.
Yeah, the B team did provide 2 magical seasons winning the Shield the first year, getting to the quarter final of the Cup last year, and looking at it the third year, you're going to look for more memorable moments once again in the competition.
Yeah, cup runs are great because they keep you going through the winter, and to get a bit of excitement going, and the supporters have something to come and see. So hopefully we can build a bit of momentum and get crowds down here again. Next Sunday is a huge game for the A team. And speaking of crowds coming down, I'd love to see the Westport soccer public coming down here and really getting behind the team. It's a big game, and I think that you'll see the Super League lads have a reaction to yesterday's loss. I think they'll come out really strong next week. I'm looking forward to that.
And I'm certainly looking forward to it too. And I did stick up a video on the TikTok channel last week of the crowd from the Osha game when we got the winner. And I probably will use that in our social media post this week just to highlight what it means. What it means to the crowd, what it means to the town, what it means to the players. Just to create that big FAI Junior Cup atmosphere. I do know about Galty Celtic. They won 7-1 yesterday in the Liddy Cup in Dublin. So we're not going to take this team for granted.
No, absolutely. You can't take any team for granted in the FAI Junior Cup, and the further you go in the rounds, the teams get better and better. But Westport will be at home, and when it comes to the crowd and it comes to the team, it's a two-way relationship. The team has to perform and work hard, and the crowd has to see that, and the crowd then will feed off that. So it's a two-way relationship. So my message to the lads on the Super League squad for next year, for that FAI Cup squad next week, work, and the goods will come your way.
And that was the message Kevin had yesterday in his interview. He mentioned about what the lads were expected to do, didn't happen, but he is expecting a big reaction next Sunday.
I'm no doubt we'll get it.
Yeah.
They're a great bunch of lads.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, Ken.